G'day guys, today we're going to talk about art grants, community consultation, placement of the art grants and the process around it. So we're looking at here, these are just what have happened in the central Goldfields Shire in the last couple of years. So we've got our book seats, you can see these rather interesting art grant. The other one is the Imagination Station, which is another art grant we've got, and then later on we'll talk about the mosaics. So the placement of these art grants and these pieces of art which the council ends up accepting and takes responsibility and ownership of, so we the community actually own it. So we'll have a look at the Imagination Station. Happened several years ago. It was put in place near what used to be the Tourist Information Centre, which has now been moved down to the station. So the Imagination Station was put in there. Once it was put in, the next question is the maintenance. Who's actually doing it? At the present moment, it's looking really sad. One side is looking good and the other is really bad. So that's the Imagination Station. Was put in front of the Tourist Information Centre, which is now no longer the Tourist Information Centre. Then we can have a look at the next one, which is, where is it? This one here, which is the book seat, which again was a very, very controversial project. It was put together, taken over, lots of disagreements, but however they got them all finished, and that one was actually placed as well in front of the Tourist Information Centre in Nolan Street in Maryborough, and that's where it stayed as well. We'll then have a look at the other book seat, which is this one here, which was done by the Community House. Again, that was put in place, and that was put at the Community House, which is probably here, not there, but that was put in place and quite reasonable there. Then we'll go to the other book seat, which was put in front of the Vic Roads. So this orange one is Vic Roads. They had it in there. They then decided it wasn't right, so they then moved it around the corner. So that's been moved, have to completely redo the plinths and everything to get that all sorted out. You read at the back of this one and it's got a story about a magpie being next to an actual apprentice shop. From my recollection, there is no apprentice shop there, so the question we now ask is, was that actually put in the right place with the proper idea in mind of who decided it? Because these were all put together by the community for that project. So with Maryborough, there's only a few little issues. They got the book seats out, they got them ready to put in, they then found out that they weren't solid enough. So on top of the grant, because the council had accepted it, they then had to put these supports up the back to actually make them solid. And this one in Phillips garden, the supports are now being broke because it was held together with check screws. So then we'll go to Bieliba. They made this book seat here. Again, a nice, bright, colourful little thing. When it was first installed, we believe, I could be wrong here, there's a bus stop here in Bieliba. So they took away the perfectly serviceable seats and they put in this incredible book seat, which is one of the most uncomfortable things, in my opinion, ever sat on. So the community rallied and said, look, we've had enough of this, we would like the old seats put back. So the actual book seat was put back in, was moved from there, the old seats were put back and they moved it to in front of the hall. So again, modern hall, as you can see there, it's quite reasonable. So there's another one. So there's one which is moved, now two which is moved. So the placement of these is pretty important. You would think with the planning department, local knowledge and all the rest, they'd get it right the first time. So now we come down to another rather controversial little area, and this is Denali. And this one incorporates the mosaics, which are a fantastic community endeavour. These are huge. They're incredibly well put together. Unfortunately, they're all flaking, but this is not about that. So this original thing here is the original plan for Phillips Gardens. Originally, all the mosaics were to go in Phillips Gardens. There was a little bit of debate about that, but anyway, so they got over it. So they put out an actual plan. So in the plan here, you can see the Phillips Gardens, and number 15, which is there, and there, are supposed to be where the mosaics are gone. So that's all been changed, and you can see you've got a walkway through here. So the mosaics have been changed. So then once they did that, they then went and poured the plinths where they were going to actually put them in. So originally the the mosaics were supposed to be here and here and here, and then all of a sudden the actual bases were put in here, here, up there, and up there. Well, actually this one was more down here. So they've been put in places, and then came the big argument, and this is the one we look at here, this is outside the Cobb & Co building. Originally there was a walkway going through and it was going to be put on the corner. They didn't eventually get the approval or go ahead with the walkway to go through here, so therefore they couldn't put it through there. Taking in mind that we've spent a hell of a lot of money to have this all planned to make sure it's all right. So you would think with things like that it would be sorted out. And in this plan here, you can see there's your Broadway, your 15, your 15, your 15, and the other 15's up there, which is in front of the courthouse. So let's go to Big Boy. He was put in here, up near the rotunda in Gordon Gardens. Not a lot of problem about that. We then come and have a look. I think this is called the Flying Dog or something like that. This one was then put in here. So these two positions are not the positions that were originally agreed with the community. So then we come down to number 3, which is the 15, which is here. That was supposed to be on the corner. When they actually put the plinth in, or the base in, they decided that wasn't right. So they then moved it into the middle of the walkway here, in front of a heritage building, Cobb & Co. The community were up in arms about that, members of the community, so they decided, all right, we'll reshift it. We'll have a community consultation and we'll reshift it. So what they decided, the actual base was already built, so you can see here, this is a concrete base that was put in there for that mosaic. So then we will shift Kangaroo from there down to here. So they shifted it from there to here. What was here was the Imagination Centre, Imagination Station. The Imagination Station also had a controversial frog that went with it, which has been questioned a lot about, but this is not about that. So the Imagination Station was then shifted from here up to the Arts Hub, which potentially is a good idea. Also at the Arts Hub was another book seat, which was put in there, which again is a great area and a great environment for it. So then they've moved from there, Kangaroo, down to here. So what they did is they then put a seat on what was there. So with the objectors, we then referred to this as the protest seat. So that was put in there. Council then decided it wasn't right, so they then removed the seat. They then completely ground it level, removed it, and then they put in this asphalt plug. So just for this one Kangaroo alone, we've had a plinth made there, it's been removed and then filled in. It's then been moved down to here. The imagination station has been moved from there. They had to build a new base for it up here and put it in there. So there is a lot of effort which has gone on to there. So then we've got this one here, which was supposed to be in front of one of the shops just down from the pub. This one ended up, oh, we've got it up here. It was actually, oh, it was actually put in here. So again, that's another one. So there's been a lot of changes with all these. We've then got the one up here. And this one here was actually an artist's design. They put it in, put the base in. We don't know who paid for that. That was there for several years. Then a wind came and blew it all over. So that's now been removed. So there's been a lot of changes, a lot of ebbs and flows. You look at the Gordon Garden plan, and it's difficult with all these movements here, and you can actually see they've now got a fitness station in here. So all these plans that they put together for the Gordon Gardens, this is really an ongoing thing. So I pray and hope they actually get a lot of it done. But for the art grants, there's a lot of community involvement in it, and you would think in doing that they would research it properly, put all the artworks in the appropriate place with all the appropriate community consultation, and then when they pay somebody to draw up a plan, they don't have to go back and change it. This one, we believe, this is a master plan from 2019. We believe this has been changed 3 times. And every time you change it is costing us more money. Not to mention the moving of the kangaroo down to here and then over to there, the imagination station. It really is costing us. You put it all together, it costs us a lot of money. So hopefully this should give any council, art group that wish to do it together to actually put it all together, work it out properly, use complete public consultation. There was public consultation used in here, but after the public consultation there was still some placed in places that weren't even organised or agreed on. So yes, there was confusion around this, but when you try and understand what happened here, you try and tell me. So this is just a little exercise just to show you that there is a lot involved. It's not just a matter of putting it together. So we've got, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got several of the book seats. There are still 2 book seats, which are these 2, which have still got to be put out. So these are from years ago. We believe they were earmarked for the youth hub. We have not put in a youth hub. We do not have a youth hub. And again, it's a priority project, which again should have all been put together with this big plan when the book seats were first put together. So there's a lot of things that go together, and all we ask is please do your research properly. Councils, use proper public consultation, get it right, because you'll save a hell of a lot of money in the long run for those few extra meetings. So hopefully you've got an idea of what's going on, because I've got no idea. So we'll leave it at that, and good luck with everything.